Hi everyone, today I will be giving a step-by-step walkthrough of a web app I've created called Market Analysis for Potential Commercial Properties. This app allows clients of commercial real estate brokerages like CBRE or JLL to input locations of potential properties they have gathered and narrowed down from a respective commercial real estate listing and run a market analysis that will provide more information about the surrounding area, leading to better decision making for which property to potentially lease or buy. This analysis adds on to the basic information about the property itself that has been provided by the brokerage companies. Once on the app, clients could dictate how big or small their market area will be and then what information is essential for successful decision making. When arriving at the app, you will see this welcome screen. The text provided gives some background information as well as what to expect once we enter. We enter by pressing OK. As noted in the welcome screen, the map shows the sample property listings that I, as a potential client, have decided on. Here, we see that one of the locations is in New Jersey and the other is in Delaware. Clicking on each of the locations on the map will bring up a pop-up with the name of the property and some of the information from the listing, such as price per square feet, what city it's located in, and spaces available. Again, this is for both of the locations on the map. The app itself has various buttons, so let's walk through them now. We have an About button. Gives us some step-by-step instructions and some screenshots that the user could find useful. We have the Market Analysis button where we will be running these two-step analysis. The Draw button allows us to add points on the map, and the Edit button allows us to also add points on the map by editing this original layer. This grouped layer is the legend and the layer list. We have a print button on the right side of the screen, which we will use to export that map. We do have the attribute table here, and this is the same information that we saw on the pop-ups. We can close all of the tabs, and then we explore the map using the zoom in, the zoom out, and we can always return to that home extent by the default extent button. And if we wanted to zoom to our current location, we would use the My Location button on the map. When we're adding points on the map, if we only have the address, we will type in the address here in the search bar. It will take us to the location, and with the Draw button, we will then add a point on that location. So now that we've explored all the buttons on the app itself, let's walk through the step-by-steps in the About button. Here we see that the first step is to ensure that all of our potential properties are loaded onto the map. There's two ways that we can do that. Like we said before, we can use the Draw button to draw the points if we had no attribute data, or we can use the Edit widget to add points to the original potential properties layer that came with the app. Once our properties are loaded on the map, we can then run the two-step analysis. The first step is to create buffer areas from location. Here's a screenshot of what that would look like. And then step 2 is the obtain market analysis variables from buffer area. Here we'll be selecting some variables that we find important in our decision-making process, and then we will explore the output of our two-step analysis and make a decision. Or we move to step 5, which is to export the map and the attribute table to then share with other stakeholders that will be part of the decision-making process for the lease or the buying of the property. So now that we are familiar, let's start with running the analysis. We are acquainted with the app and the buttons on the app itself, we will start with step 1. For this acquainting period, we will run the analysis with the potential properties mockup listing points. For the scenario that we are running, we are a company that wants to hire local talent. So let's say tops 40-mile radius. And let's change the results layer name to something more user-friendly. Let's call this mock-up market area. And we're going to run the analysis. Running the analysis means creating these buffer areas, market areas. So we will give it some time to take our points, and then with a 40-mile radius, draw the buffers, and then add it to the map. This will take a couple of seconds. Again, just a couple of more seconds. So it has finished, and we see that the output buffer areas have been added onto the map. We can export them, but right now we're just going to go back and finish the 2-step analysis. So step 2 is we're going to take our market area buffers, and we're going to select some variables so that we can obtain this additional information that we need for our decision-making process. So for our scenario, we're interested on total population. We are also interested in the median household income, and this is probably for HR, like we would need to know like for wages and salaries. We also want to know median age of the population. It's important to us to know that the workforce and their education level, as we are going to be filling in the positions. So some of our requirements will only require a high school diploma, others could be a bachelor's degree, so we will see those numbers there. We are also interested in some labor force. So let's look at the labor force by occupation. We are interested in management. We are interested in computer and mathematical. We are interested in life, physical, social science, and lastly, some legal. So now we have our 9 variables that are important to our decision making. We're going to apply. Again, Esri has plenty of variables that will be important into yours. And let's change up the name to something more user-friendly, and then we can say market area output analysis output. Let's do that. And we're going to run the tool. Again, this process will take our area and it will gather the information for each of our 9 variables that we have identified as important and provide us a new layer with that information in the attribute table. And that's what we will use to compare and contrast further the 2 properties. Again, this will take a couple of seconds. Once this is done, we see that another buffer area layer has been added, but this layer now has those additional attributes. So let's go to the layer list. We have our output, which is the market area analysis output. Let's look at the attribute table. Here we have the initial data that we had about each of the properties. And we have so we have the distance for our market area And now we have the 9 variables that we've identified. And we can compare and contrast, and depending on what is important for us, come to a decision. If I am not the only one that needs to see this information, we can export as a CSV. And we can also provide the map as a PDF. So let's try that. Let's press print and see what happens, and let's export. We say OK. So we see that we get the market analysis output here, and we get the map here. Now we can share and make a decision of which property will be best for us. I will quickly demonstrate how we will add points. Let's say that we have 2 potential listings, one in Maryland and we will take the draw and we will drop a point, and the other is in Pennsylvania. We will bring in the address, search, and we will drop a point. We can also turn off our layers so that we don't get confused like that. And again, we'll go to draw a point and we'll drop a point. You can change the symbology, it's up to you. And now we have another layer. We have a points layer when we don't have attribute information. Now let's say that we did have attribute information like price per square feet, the city. We will use the edit. We can press the properties layer and we can add point. Make sure this is highlighted, and we can drop the point anywhere on the map. Again, if this was the location, we would add the point here and it will be added to that layer. The attributes, let's say you've added your points and the prices have changed. We can look and update here. Okay, I hope you find this walkthrough very useful, and now that you can go and explore the tool yourself. Thank you.